Merry Christmas, everyone. We finally made it. It's Christmas. I'm excited. I've had a great time going through all of these videos all month long, every Sunday here on YouTube, but every single day of Advent, 27 days on Patreon. So it's been really fun. If you wanted to watch all these videos, yeah, you could support me at Patreon, patreon.com/Damon Garcia. I'd appreciate it. That could be your Christmas gift to me. But today, our final reading is from the Gospel according to John. John chapter 1, 1 through 14. And here's the thing. The typical Christmas Jesus birth stories that we're used to come from the Gospel of Matthew and the Gospel of Luke. Mark was actually the first Gospel written. He doesn't feel the need to include a birth story. He just starts immediately with Jesus coming on the scene, getting baptized by John the Baptist. Matthew and Luke also start there, but add these birth stories. The Gospel of John also starts with Jesus getting baptized by John, but he adds before that scene this. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him, not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He himself was not the light, but he came to testify to the light. The true light which enlightens everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world came into being through him. Yet the world did not know him. He came to what was his own, and his own people did not accept him. But to all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave power to become children of God, who were born not of blood, or of the will of the flesh, or of the will of man, but of God. And the Word became flesh and lived among us. And we have seen his glory, the glory as of a Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. That's John's birth story. That's John's Christmas story right there. And that's the incarnation right there. Incarnation meaning to become carnal, to become flesh. And take notice here, there was no mention of Jesus in what we just read. I mean, of course, this is the beginning of the gospel about Jesus Christ, but he starts off by saying, what I'm about to show you here is how God becomes flesh. God does not simply just become the flesh of one individual man named Jesus. God becomes all flesh. The contemplative Christian teacher James Finley said, "Our Christian faith does not teach us that God became incarnate in someone named Jesus who lived 2,000 years ago. Rather, our faith teaches that in the person of Jesus who lived 2,000 years ago, it is revealed that God has become incarnate as us." That's the twist of the incarnation right there. There are plenty of people claiming to be the Messiah in the first century who also had followers and were also crucified on crosses for the crime of sedition. The difference with the followers of Jesus is that after his death, they claimed to continue to experience Christ, but not as just a figure who is alive now so that we could keep following him, but Christ as the followers. And unlike all the other followers of the other messiahs who went home after their messiah's crucifixion and said, I guess we were wrong about who the messiah was, these guys said, I guess we were wrong about what the messiah is. And that the messiah is still in the world through us. We are not waiting around for someone to come down and save us, but we are all agents of the salvation of humanity. These early followers realized we are the body of the Messiah, the body of Christ. The word Christ is just the Greek version of the word Messiah, which just means the anointed one. And they realize we are all the body of the anointed one, all of us anointed to continue the work, the saving work of the Messiah through our own hands and feet in the world. In 2 Corinthians 13:5, the Apostle Paul says to the church in Corinth, examine yourselves to see whether you are living in the faith. Test yourselves. So, what's the test to see if you're living in the faith? Do you realize that Jesus Christ is in you? Unless indeed you fail to pass the test. And Paul's experience of God through Christ is so interesting because he never even knew the guy Jesus. And yet he's persecuting Christians, and then he has this vision of the Christ who says, you are persecuting me. And then he realized, oh yeah, this whole group of people is Christ. And then he realizes that Christ is in him. And then he's writing to the church saying, Christ is in you. Christ is in everything. Christ is in everyone. Through this lens, we see Christ everywhere. If you're a Christian, we're Christians because Jesus Christ is our entry point to the experience of God. That's what it means to be a Christian. We experience God through Christ. Christ is our entry point. Christ is our entry point to God. We experience God through incarnation, through God becoming flesh through Christ. That doesn't make Christianity a superior religion. That just makes Christianity a distinct religion. For Christians, our entry point to the experience of God is Jesus Christ, while other religions have their own tradition with their own entry points to the experience of God. The Christian claim is that God becomes flesh in us, as us, and that starts through the person of Jesus. Because we need that entry point. That is such a huge truth to grasp. We need something as small and singular as a singular Nazarene Jesus to be able to begin to grasp it. And so we see it in Jesus. We see God revealed through the life of Jesus. And that inspires us and empowers us to see God now revealed in all flesh. Seeing God is now acting through human action. And if you're someone who really believes that, then you better act. If you really believe that God becomes flesh and that Christ can be seen in everything, then that should inspire you to fall in love with the world and with humanity, and to fall in love with humanity and see the entirety of humanity as the incarnation of God, then that should really inspire us to fight for more for humanity, to fight for the liberation of humanity, so that we may all be free from wage slavery, free from colonization, free from the oppressive state and the police and the prisons and the military that comes with it. If you really believe that God has become flesh, realize there's so much to fight for, because we all deserve so much more than this. And let me end here by reading this classic prayer from Teresa of Avila, who said, "Christ has no body now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes through which he looks compassion on this world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands through which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands, yours are the feet, yours are the eyes, you are his body. Christ has no body now on earth but yours." Merry Christmas, everyone. I love and appreciate you all. Thank you so much for going through this journey with me through Advent and now Christmas Day. And I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.
Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel.